I'd like to begin this evening just to take a moment to acknowledge the passing of Mr. Stanley Ron Martin. Mr. Martin was a Town of Port Hedland councillor from 2002 to 2012 and the mayor of the town from 2005 to 2009. Early in his tenure as the town's mayor, Mr. Martin was appointed as the chair of the Pilbara Development Commission Board. His role as chair came at a time of growth and expansion in the mining and resources industry throughout the region, bringing challenges such as housing, education, recreation and health services to grapple with. Mr. Martin's focus was on creating enduring partnerships with both government and the region's resource companies. At the time of Mr. Martin's appointment as chair, the then Minister for Pilbara, John Ford, noted Mr. Martin's 30-year track record in the Northwest as a businessman and community leader would make him an ideal person for the job. Mr. Martin also brought in-depth knowledge and invaluable understanding of issues facing the region's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, having spent a great deal of time working in remote communities. Mr. Martin was a builder by trade, moving to the Pilbara in 1974, where he raised his two daughters with his wife, Stephanie. The significant commitment and contribution to the town by Mr. Martin will be remembered. We extend our condolences to Mr. Martin's family at this difficult time. Vale, Mr. Stanley Martin. I also would like to formally acknowledge and pay respects to the late elder, Mrs. Diana Brown, a deeply respected Gariyata woman whose lifelong dedication to the Gariyata country has shaped the foundations of this region. I note respectfully that her name is used today with the permission of her family in recognition of cultural protocols surrounding the naming of someone who has passed. Diana devoted her life to the protection, continuation and celebration of Gariyata culture. As a traditional custodian and knowledge holder, she carried her cultural responsibilities with great strength, wisdom and dignity. She ensured that Gariyata people were central in decisions affecting their lands, waterways, heritage and future, and she consistently upheld the cultural principles that guide care for country. Our newly opened playground, Curly Wiri, the Spallbank Marina Playground, is a tangible example of Diana's commitment to the preservation of Gariyata language. Diana played a significant role in the naming of this space, meaning little people play in Gariyata language. Her leadership, advocacy and cultural stewardship leave an enduring legacy. On behalf of the town of Port Hedland, we acknowledge her life, her legacy and her leadership, and we extend our deepest respects to her family, her community and all who carry her teachings forward. Vale, Mrs. Diana Brown. I'm pleased to announce the appointment of Dale Stewart to the permanent role of Chief Executive Officer, marking an important milestone on our ongoing program of work to stabilise the organisation and strengthen the town of Port Hedland's leadership. Mr. Stewart's appointment has followed an extensive competitive recruitment process and reflects the importance of securing proven executive leadership for the town. The town's been without a permanent Chief Executive Officer for well over a year, so this appointment is an important step forward. Mr. Stewart brings a proven leadership experience with a strong track record in senior executive roles, which will be critical in providing stability for the organisation, supporting our workforce and rebuilding confidence in the town's administration. It provides a very strong foundation for the incoming council following the March state elections. Mr. Stewart's an accomplished CEO and senior government leader with more than 40 years' experience serving diverse and complex communities across Western Australia. He's led 4 local governments as CEO and held senior executive and consultancy roles across the sector, bringing exceptional capability in governance, financial management, strategic planning and organisational development. He's recognised for delivering major capital works programs, long-time financial plans, award-winning community initiatives and robust organisational reforms. He will join us from the Shire of Narrogin, where he's been the CEO for the past 7 years and commenced his appointment on the 11th of May. And finally, I would like to note that nominations for council elections close at 4 p.m. tomorrow morning, and the returning officers based downstairs here at the council offices and available to discuss the election process. And as we've consistently said, this is a great opportunity for people to actively participate and shape the future of the town of Port Hedland. Okay, item 4, public time. Ladies and gentlemen, public time is an opportunity for members of the public to ask questions of council. I note as a special council meeting, the public questions and statements must relate to the items on tonight's agenda. Clause 6.73 of the Town of Port Hedland Standing Orders local law requires members of the public wishing to ask a question to complete a question form and place the completed form in the tray provided. If myself as a presiding member determine that questions or statements are out of order due to the use of offensive or objectionable expressions or are defamatory, they will not be considered, recorded, nor responded to. Public questions are allocated a minimum of 15 minutes under the Act. Public questions and statements received in writing will be provided the opportunity to present first, followed by other members of the public. I declare public question time opened at 5:40 p.m. CEO, have we received any questions prior to the meeting?
Chair, none have been received in writing.
Thank you. Do any members of the public wish to ask any questions? There being no questions, I close the question time at 5:41 p.m. I declare public statement time open at 5:42 p.m. CEO, have we received any public statements?
Chair, none have been received in writing.
Do any members of the public wish to make a public statement? There being no public statements, I declare public statement time closed at 5:43 p.m. Item 5, questions from members without notice. Are there any questions from members? No. Nope. All right. Item 7, declarations of all members to have given due consideration to all matters contained in the business paper before the meeting. I invite members to declare by a show of hands that they've given due consideration to all matters contained within the agenda. Thank you. Item 8, there are no reports of officers from corporate services. 8.2, there are no reports from community services. Item 8.3, 8.3.1, proposed transition of Port Haven Entitlement BHP funding proposal has been withdrawn from this evening's special council meeting agenda. Item 4, infrastructure services. Item 8.4.1, we have an officer's recommendation before us as displayed on screen that requires a simple majority vote. Can I have a mover?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Jurovic. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second the officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Aldridge. Does anyone wish to speak to the motion? No? As the motion is not opposed, I declare the motion carried by a simple majority. Item 8.4.2, award of RFT2526-05 Gilbert Street flood pump station upgrades. We have an officer's recommendation before us, officer's recommendation number 1, as displayed on the screen, that requires an absolute majority and simple majority vote. Sorry, the wording, I'm just going to consult with the CEO. Okay, just to clarify, the vote requires an absolute majority vote because it is requiring a budget amendment. So can I have a mover?
I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Aldridge, and a seconder.
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jurovic. Does anyone wish to speak to the motion?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Commissioner Aldridge.
And with your indulgence, Chair, I might speak to the matter more holistically, noting that there are 2 officer recommendations. I'd just like to put on the record that the Commissioners and I undertook a site inspection and actually saw the pumps in operation today, and I'd like to thank Director Furness and her team for hosting us on site so that we could better appreciate their importance to Port Hedland and particularly the West End. I'm not sure when the pumps were originally installed, but I think it's fair to say we've got our money's worth out of them, and they are well and truly due for replacement. And it's not just the pumps, it's all of the related infrastructure, electrical and civil infrastructure that is associated with the pumps. I think the history of this matter is pretty well set out in the officer's report. We've received a $500,000 contribution from DFES to undertake this work, but notwithstanding that, there is a a significant shortfall in funding for this project to be delivered in the order of $1.6 million. And it is really important, particularly for somewhere like Port Hedland and indeed the Pilbara. We've had a reminder just over last weekend of how vulnerable we are to tropical cyclones, and that's probably only going to increase in severity and frequency into the future. I think some of the other benefits from proceeding with this project will be, as I understand it, some automation which will allow the pumps to be remotely accessed but also operate automatically, and there will be standby generation on site permanently. So at the moment we mobilise temporary generators and we require staff to go down to the pumps and manually turn pumps on and off. So I think it's going to certainly improve the arrangements, and I think there will also be significant safety improvements for our staff that are involved in their operation. So I think with all of that being said, I'm supportive of the report and the officer's recommendations.
Thank you, Commissioner Aldridge. Commissioner Jurovich?
Basically what Commissioner Aldridge said. Yes, appreciated the visit to site today and the very well explained situation that we have there, and you can recognise, unfortunately, that it's a requirement that we need that there, but it is certainly something that the town needs, and needs a very good system, which appears to be so with this tender. And it was also pleasing to know that they're going to put a backup generator on site as well. So they're covering all bases. Thank you.
Thank you. I just had a quick question that I will channel through the CEO. When we did the site visit today, there's obviously somewhere that the water's got to go, and it's discharging next to the site, and I understand that the Port Hedland or the Pilbara Port Authority own the land. I just wondered if there was a requirement, given that we've had some very positive engagements with Pilbara Ports, for engagement around this particular project, and then on completion, the relationship between this project and that plot of land.
Thank you, Chair. If I could pass that through to the Director of Infrastructure.
Thank you for the question. The water discharges into port land, and we have been engaging with the port in terms of regularising the arrangement for the town to discharge into that land. So we just have no basis for that to happen. It's just really it's been enabled over a long period of time. The other thing that we'll be working with the port on is the road. So we'll be replacing the culvert, and that is the main, Gilbert Street is the main road into the port. And so that means that we will have to engage and work very closely with the port in terms of those traffic movements and how we are actually going to deliver that culvert replacement, and also working closely with the port in terms of assisting them with perhaps when we mobilise our asphalt contract, for them to piggyback on the back of that, so that they don't have to pay separate mobilisation costs. So we have been working closely with the port and will continue to do so on this project.
Thank you. Through the CEO, is it my understanding then that the arrangements with regard to the plot of land onto which water's discharged are informal, and there may be some benefit to formalising the arrangements between the Port Authority and the town?
Through the Chair, I don't believe that we actually have an easement over there, albeit under Section 3.53, unvested easements sit with the town. So perhaps the Director might be able to clarify that further, Chair.
There is, to my knowledge, there is no easement, and there is no formal arrangements for access to that plot of land. And so that is one of the things that we will be working with the port on, whether or not it's a licence, a lease, or an easement. But you know, there's never been a problem in discharging onto that site. So it protects West End asset, it protects port assets as well. So that's never been in question.
I suppose what I'm trying to get a handle on is the relationship between the town of Port Hedland and the port is incredibly important. And so where there are these loose ends that could potentially be tied up, this would be a very good, given that we've got a whole range of reasons to talk to them at the moment, this might be a good exercise to undertake. And again, with the intention of tying up any loose ends and to the extent that we're able to during the caretaker period. So we've had incredibly positive engagement with Pilbara Ports, and this project, as I say, is so integral to the community safety and to flood prevention, and this is potentially an avenue that we might be able to pursue. So I would just flag that.
Thank you, Chair. Look, we'll investigate that in relation to those opportunities. And as you say, the town and the Port Authority have an exceptional positive relationship, and see if we can identify what opportunities may come from there.
All right. As the motion is not opposed, I declare officers' recommendation number 1 carried by absolute majority. As displayed on the screen, we have officers' recommendation number 2. That requires a simple majority vote. Can I have a mover?
So moved, Chair.
And a seconder?
I'll second the motion.
Does anyone wish to speak to the motion? No? As the motion is not opposed, I declare the motion carried by simple majority. Item number 8.5, Executive Services, there is none. Item number 9, matters for which the meeting may be closed, there are none. Item number 10, closure. I thank the Commissioners, member of the public, the CEO and staff for their attendance. There being no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 8:50 p.m. 6:50 p.m. 5:50. Oh, it's just been a long day. Sorry, 5:50.